Sonic's Green Hills Adventure Season 6 Chapter 5 Settling in for the first night. The walk from the loft back to Granny's was filled with the lively chatter of the Green Hills crew. The town was beginning to glow under the street lamps, making the brick and mortar of Storybrooke look even more like a scene from a storybook. When the bell chimed as they entered the diner, they found a man sitting at a booth near the back, nursing a cup of black coffee and looking every bit the part of a modern-day mariner. Killian Jones looked up as the large group filed in. He was wearing his usual dark leather, and the silver hook on his left hand glinted under the diner's overhead lights. His eyes, sharp and blue, scanned the newcomers, lingering for a moment on the colorful quills of the hedgehogs. Emma walked over, sliding into the booth next to him.
Hey, sorry we're late. We had a bit of a multiversal video call to deal with.
Killian had a slow, roguish smirk spreading across his face as he looked at Sonic and Shadow.
I see. And here I thought the most interesting thing in town today was going to be the fresh catch down at the docks. I take it these are the travelers you mentioned, Swan.
Sonic stepped up to the table, leaning his elbow on the edge.
Guilty as charged. I'm Sonic. This is the family. And you must be the pirate everyone's talking about.
Killian stood up, giving a mock theatrical bow.
Captain Killian Jones, at your service. Though most in this town know me by a slightly sharper moniker.
Shadow approached with a measured, confident stride, his eyes fixed on the silver hook.
Shadow, I was told you were a man of combat and the sea. I've always found that those who live by the blade or the hook have a certain clarity of purpose.
Killian chuckled, leaning back against the booth.
Spoken like a warrior, lad. I like him already, Emma. He's got more fire in his eyes than a kraken in a lightning storm. So, tell me, is it true you lot move faster than a gale wind?
Shadow pulled up a chair and sat down, looking genuinely engaged.
Faster. The wind is a laggard compared to us. But I am curious about the practical application of your prosthesis. Does it provide a tactical advantage in a close-quarter skirmish, or is it primarily a psychological tool?
Killian rose the hook, rotating his wrist so the light caught the edge.
A bit of both, mate. It's reached places a sword never could, and it's a rare soul who doesn't blink when they see 6 inches of sharpened steel coming for their throat. But I imagine you have your own tricks.
Oh, he's got plenty. Usually involving explosions or very fast kicks. But hey, Captain, do they have chili dogs on the Jolly Roger? Because I feel like that's a missed opportunity if they don't.
I'm afraid our galley is more about hardtack and rum, though I've developed a fondness for whatever poutine is since coming ashore. Sit, sit. We've plenty of time to swap tales of the high seas and high speeds.
As the rest of the group, Tom, Maddie, Rachel, Jojo, Maria, Annika, Marina, Silver, and the teens found neighboring tables, the diner became a hub of shared stories. Killian was a natural storyteller, regaling Joey and Silver with tales of Neverland, while Jessica and Veronica asked him questions about the fashion sense of the Enchanted Forest. Annika was watching Shadow and Killian talk shop.
I don't think I've ever seen Shadow this interested in a conversation. He's actually asking follow-up questions.
He respects the captain's experience. Shadow has always appreciated someone who has survived a long journey. Plus, I think he just likes the aesthetic.
Maria was watching Killian with a kind smile.
He has a very brave heart. It is the heart of someone who found his way home through the dark, just like us.
Emma turned to Tom.
Looks like they're fitting in just fine. Killian has a way with lost souls, probably because he was one for about 300 years.
He seems like a good man, a bit intense with the leather, but a good man.
For the next hour, the visitors forgot about dimensions and blank books. They were just people in a diner sharing a meal and a laugh. Shadow and Killian continued their debate on the merits of a saber versus a chaos-infused strike, their voices low and spirited, while the sound of the ocean waves echoed faintly in the distance outside the diner's windows.
Then it's settled. Tomorrow you'll show me the Jolly Roger, and I'll show you what a sonic boom feels like from the deck of a ship.
It's a bargain, mate. Just don't knock my mast into the sea.
The street lamps of Storybrooke cast long, amber shadows as the group finally stepped out of the warmth of Granny's. The town was incredibly still, the only sound being the distant chime of the clock tower and the gentle lap of the harbor against the docks. Emma led the way toward a grand, three-story Victorian building with a wraparound porch and a sign that read Storybrooke Bed and Breakfast. It was elegant and slightly imposing, but the warm light glowing from the windows made it feel like a sanctuary.
All right, Archie usually keeps a few suites open for situations exactly like this. It's quiet, the beds are comfortable, and more importantly, it's far enough from the mayor's office that you won't have Regina checking your pulse every 5 minutes.
We appreciate it, Emma. Truly, it's been a very long day. I think we're all ready to just process everything.
I'm just looking forward to a pillow that doesn't smell like charcoal and barbecue smoke.
Inside, the lobby was filled with the scent of lavender and old wood. As they gathered around the check-in desk, the group began to divvy up the rooms. Sonic was bouncing on the balls of his feet, his energy still humming.
I call the room with the balcony. I need to be able to see the stars so I can figure out if the constellations are in the same place. Science, right, Shadow?
Shadow leaned against the banister of the grand staircase, his expression lively and sharp.
I suspect you just want to see how far you can jump before you hit the pavement, Sonic. But I'll take the adjacent room. I want to be close enough to hear when you inevitably trip over the furniture.
I don't mind where I stay, as long as there's a window. The moonlight here feels different. It's softer.
Annika was helping Rachel and Jojo with their bags.
I'm staying with Maria and Jojo. We've got a lot to talk about, mostly about how we're going to explain this to the school board if we're gone for more than a weekend.
I'll set up the interdimensional link in the common room. If the other Sonics call back, we'll be ready.
Before heading up, Shadow stepped out onto the porch one last time. He wasn't looking for danger. He was simply taking in the architecture of this new world. He looked at the intricately carved wooden railings and the way the fog hugged the ground. Killian was coming up behind him, leaning against the doorframe.
A restless spirit, aren't you, mate? I spent many a night on the Jolly Roger doing the exact same thing. Watching the horizon, waiting for the world to make sense.
Shadow turned his head slightly, a small smirk on his lips.
The world rarely makes sense, Captain. But I've found that the best stories happen when you stop trying to control the wind and just start steering the ship. I'm looking forward to seeing that vessel of yours tomorrow.
And I'm looking forward to seeing this sonic boom you promised. Rest well, Shadow. Tomorrow, we see if the sea likes you as much as the town does.
One by one, the lights in the Victorian house began to flick off. The Blue Angels and the Wachowskis settled into their rooms, the soft creak of the floorboards the only sound in the night. For a group that had spent years in high-stakes battles, the silence of a Maine evening was almost surreal. Sonic's voice muffled from behind a door.
Hey, Shadow, you awake?
Shadow's voice was crisp and clear.
Go to sleep, Sonic.
Okay, just checking. Night.
The quiet returned, but in the center of the common room, the leather-bound book Emma had mentioned sat on a small side table. It was still blank, but as the clock tower struck midnight, a faint indigo glow pulsed deep within its pages just for a second before fading back into the paper.